Alright, I did it. I saved my acousta strat. It's hanging on the wall. Uh, let's bring it down. I got selfie mode. I didn't even polish it off. It still got dust all over it. And little tip, save your dust. Right, I was sawing down, filing down the bridge, the new saddle rather. You can see in there. The new saddle, tusk. Pretty sweet. Save your tusk dust. Alright, so after a night of string tension, yesterday I redid the slot. I reshimmed the slot. You could see some of the finish came off. You could see the old slot better now. I filed it down a little more smooth. And but whatever, I was just testing the dye and the color, and you could see how some of the black and some of the dark brown kind of stuck in there. But if we got the right angle, this bridge pin's still a little high, isn't it? The first one. That's a big string, but I kind of slotted it, made some room. Look at it. Yeah, there's definitely... The break angle's not bad, but look how much whine there is on the base of that E string. And then if I get the angle right, I don't know if you guys are even seeing this, but I mean, the saddle's sitting up pretty straight. It's kind of angled back around the high E, and then it bends forward around the low E, so it ain't perfect. I was shimming it more on the high end. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's just the way it needed to be. There's a little bit of flexibility in these saddles. It's not like bone. It's more like plastique. And you can see my slot kind of curves a little posterior on the highest E. So I was just thinking, yeah, it's sharp. We need to get it back. So where are we now? It stayed in tune overnight. It's looking pretty flat, the body. I'm sorry I pressed on it and dented it and assaulted it continually because it had a pretty pristine body, actually. It did need a little buffing and shining. Let the fly out. Get out of here, fly. Go, be gone with you. Be free. Live another hour. They don't live too long, I don't think. Anyway, now we're going to have background noise. Let's close this. Got a nice background here. Okay, y'all. So... bone nut, compensated bone nut. Can you see that? Let me put more lights on. Bone nut. All right. I could still use to grind it a little smoother, but yesterday I got on the intonation, and you can see great compensation, or can you? Hopefully you can see that. But yeah, I had to use the Dremel and just grind it out. Now this saddle was big enough so I could kind of ramp it down the back. You see I got the string trees. They're pretty low, pulling a lot of tension on those middle two strings especially. We're kind of matching the radius. It's not too pretty. I still got bone dust there. But I was more worried about the intonation. Now in the end, it looks like the compensated saddle brought the G forward. And then the other values probably would have worked with a normal or... a pre-compensated saddle, right? Like I probably could have got a bone nut pre-compensated for Fender. Yeah, I'm sure they make those pretty good. But being this guitar is old and having intonation problems, and then I had to reslot the bridge, right? I changed the neck angle. I shimmed it up with a couple of business cards. Yesterday we were getting busy. I had to take the neck off, and when I did... I found the bolt I jammed in there is a little bigger than the other ones. You see how raunchy it looks? Can you see that? I hope you guys are seeing this. You should be seeing that. Okay. Unless I break more things. But there you go. And the body was cracked. This plastic body has a wood block, and it's like press wood. You know, use a piece of solid wood to drill into. Well, I guess that's what you get when you get affordable guitars. It's made in China, and the neck is money. Right, you got the skunk stripe. I still got dust everywhere. You know, there's some nice grain on this. Basically a one piece, man. Pretty sweet. So we might be upgrading the tuners. I'm pretty sure the body will stay together. I glued it. We got the banding. It's a pretty nice guitar for what I paid. And we got to test the piezo. Okay, so I pretty much wrecked the piezo. And yeah, after shimming the neck, we got the action way down. So the action's probably around 2.75, 2.5, pretty low for an acoustic. All right, maybe even 2.25 if I'm pushing down on the first fret. They say that's the way to measure it at the 12th. Then I'm getting like 2.25, 2.5. The deal is I can easily lower it now with just a little turn on the truss rod, right? But then it'll start to buzz a little in the upper, in the F and the first few frets, first four frets, which is kind of cool if you want that, but then it loses sustain and energy and sound and brilliance, and it's not all there like it used to. I lowered the strings a little bit in gauge. It was hybrid nines, now they're regular nines. I don't know if that's what it is, but it's weird because the guitar, you know, if everything's not in sync, it's not going to really ring true. And so, yeah, when I crank the truss rod and it starts to buzz a little bit here, right, then it starts to get a deader sound all over. But, you know, then the action is way low, like J-Lo. So if you're playing like soft with the pickup on through an amp, electric, maybe some soft jazz, and you're not swinging for the fence. But when I play this thing like an acoustic, I want it to sound like a big fat Alvarez, right? And I swing on this sucker pretty hard. So I realize my goal isn't to have the action as low as I thought I wanted it, right? It's a compromise. You know, I guess you can have your cake and eat it too. But it's cool. I mean, it's set up pretty good. So now if I want to put it through an amp and have lower action, I simply turn the truss rod and then maybe tune it up again, right? The strings are stretched in, so it's starting to hold, right? That's when I finally got the true intonation. Not only that, my Delta Labs clip-on, which I crazy glued back together 10 times, now I have JB welded, so may it never come free again. Pretty good, but in terms of accuracy, there's a little slight delay. And then also, you know, you're not seeing 4 cents, 5 cents, it's like 15, 20 cents. So, I mean, you can even, there's wiggle room in there, so you can kind of feel out, you know, smaller percentages, but not the way to go. I'm using that downloaded app from Boss on the phone, on the Android, and it's great. So, the action, if I can get down here, you can see the neck angle, you can see the action, pretty smooth, pretty sweet. The intonation is spot on, okay? So I don't know, should I play it for you guys? Nah, I think what I'll do is I'll record another tune or me playing it, and this way no one could watch those. Right? Like I get like 10 views when I record a cover. I'll do some Dead cover or maybe some Bob Marley or something, and we'll see, no one will watch it. But, you know, that's where I was like halfway through this guitar, and I thought it was pretty good. Like the action was lower after cranking the neck angle the first time. And there's Boy, he's giving us our support. His support. You see Black Ninja? Rare sighting of a Black Panther Ninja making love to his pillow and his blankie. He's a good boy. Can you see that? Let me get some light on it. No worst cinematographer. He's a good boy. I don't know if he's embarrassed. Now all of a sudden, it's like OnlyFans or something. All right, back to the guitar. Yeah, I mean, it's ringing good. No buzzing. Jeez, let's see if I can. The worst camera. I'm glad I really thought out this. I'll try to angle it down and sit down and maybe play it for you. Now it's probably way out of tune. Let's check it. Let's check it with the Delta Lab, right? So this is good for just clip-on, quickening, but for doing intonations, right, I was struggling. That's probably why it would take me all day to do an intonation. I guess kind of good practice, like weightlifting. But here's your D chord. It sounds kind of out. Yep, E is flat, A is money, D flat. So there's temperature changes in this room. I had to put the heat on. It was cold. This is the colder room. I was cranking the heat last night. It seems to go into tune pretty quick. The low E, still sharp. But it was flat. I went too sharp. Good. More money. Huh? Not bad. Acousta strat. Let me give you that D chord. Not liking it. Sounds out. Sounds like tinny. So the strings are still stretching in. You know, I cranked on this truss rod 10 times yesterday, all the way back and forth. New saddle, new bone nut. The guitar's got to find itself. Not bad, right? It's not ringing out really as loud and as bright as I would like. The action's there. It's pretty playable. This neck is smooth, man. I could probably wipe it down with a cloth. My greasy, dirty food fingers or whatever. But maybe some of the bowling alley wax. But yeah, man, it's smooth back here. I found a little dent up by the top. I guess I could work that sucker out. Yeah, and there's some grease and some oil. But, yeah, I'm just going to grab for the Allen wrench right now and see if you guys could notice the sound difference. I'm going to give a little more relief, so I'm going to lose some action on this. But I want more sound. So there's a little relief in it. I mean, not much. That's 3 little clicks, pretty good. I'm getting to the point of almost no tension. So let's see if that took it out of tune. Probably. And then I'll, give it the reverse bow. I'll help it make its correction. I'm helping the string tension. E's a little flat. A is flat. D is flat. Right? So it made some kind of noticeable correction. The B is flat. It made everything go kind of flat. I could have just been me playing hard. And the E is in. Alright, so we're pretty good. Thank you, Delta Labs. Alright, back to the D chord. Already sounds way brighter. Yeah. It feels like less tension too in the strings. Not as bright as it could be up here. Kind of okay. If I'm going to be doing stuff like that, maybe coffee house or in a house, like living room show, concert kind of deal. Where am I? Pull myself. Okay, so acousta strat, it's coming at you and it's not that fat. All right, I'll just break into it. So it sounds funny to me. It sounds off. I like to do that song. I was doing that because it combines the open notes, tuning in the lower frets, right? Cowboy kind of chords, but I can tell if there's buzzing. You got that chimey sitar, B string. So it's hard to tell, it's real subtle. And they say that's the back of the nut coming down the back angle. It can get real sitar-y and unpleasant. And I think when I didn't have the string tree on, it was doing that no good. But we're pretty good as far as I could tell. It might be interesting when I listen back to this, part of the reason of doing it, to hear how chimey. So another good way, and I'm not happy immediately. It's like all sounds dead to me. I just do these, what are these, minor 7 chords the whole way. 12th fret. Pinky extension. You just do that on every fret. Or you do a little song maybe. So it could be a little brighter, a little louder. Maybe another little crank on the truss rod will get me there. But we're running out of room. So in terms of brightness and sound, I could unshim the neck a little and change the string gauge, go back heavier maybe, but I don't know if it's going to bend the body and warp the body back out. As it is, I'm missing a support beam. I'm not missing it. It's over there. It's on the bench, but it's not. The guitar is missing it. Maybe it's just spare parts. We don't need that. Maybe that was the problem. I traded that in for a shim. Only the shim's in a different spot. Okay, here we go. Truss rod, relief. Oh, I got another good crank. And we're running out of tension. That's about it, right? So screw the really low action on this. This is kind of my high action guitar. Again, I'm going to warp the neck back. Let's check the tuning. It's probably out. So I've been playing hybrid 9s on my electrics, on everything. My older acoustics, this might have had 10s at one point, but I had the hybrid 9s as far as I can remember on this. And the Alvarez probably has 10s. It might even have 11s or 12s. I might not even have strung it. I can't remember. I probably did change the strings on it. Yeah, in fact, I think recently, yeah, when I was repairing it, the G is sharp. You know G is weird. So let me pull on it. Get it back in. I'm coming down. Come on, sucker. I'm turning, and it's not going. So it could be a little problem behind the nut. I didn't lube the nut. It's lubed with bone dust, which might be good. Like a powdery, maybe not that slippery. There's a G. So I think I'm going to lube the nut and clean it up. The B's a little high. The guitar feels cold, so it feels like maybe that's why it keeps going out a little too. Yeah. Subtle, but again, sounding better. So this guitar always did have like a tinnier, cheaper sound than, you know, like my Alvarez or a real acoustic, right? That's the trade-off. But sounds like the intonation's a little out, or the it's out of tune a little. Yeah, E is off. Sounding better. Way better. Kind of acceptable. Right, bone nut and Graphtec saddles should be brighter than it was originally, but even now with the truss rod completely loose, I'm running, I'm passing, and running. Let me grab me ruler. Okay, ruler, tell us the rule. The rule says pretty much 3 mils spot on at the 12th, right? But I'm not fretting the first. If I fret the first, I don't know, 275, 2.5. Pretty good. Yeah, 2.5. So if you want to count that as official for an acoustic, that's bomb. That's kind of low action acoustic, definitely. And now I'm gonna do kind of a, not, you know, it kind of lost the tinniness. Better than it was before. Right, you go for all that trouble to get the pinky, and then if you can't hear it, it's a waste. Right, so if I want to hear these upper, I'll do the little Jimmy Page thing. Where is it? It's like minor. It's there, it's solid. I want to hear the C chord. Let me switch to the Pearl Jam song. right? So I'm not amiss fretting, which will bring out that tinniness. Pull it out of tune with my little hand, right? So that's a big acoustic song. That's a good song for the Alvarez, right? I don't know if you know it. I seem to recognize your face, haunting, familiar, can't seem to place it. Cannot find a candle of thought to light your name. Lifetimes catching up with me. Oh, changes taking place. I wish I'd seen a place no one's there taking me. Hearts and thoughts, they they fade, fade away. I seem to recognize your breath, memories, your fingerprints, slowly erasing me. You wouldn't recall. I'm not mine. Stuck upon, yeah, yeah, yeah. I change, I'm not changing at all. Small town predicts my fate. Perhaps that's what no one wants to see. I just wanna scream, hello. So low, never dreamed you'd return, but now here you go, and here I am. Hearts and thoughts, they fade away, yeah. Say hearts and thoughts, they fade. And thoughts they fade, fade away. Thoughts and thoughts they fade away. Hey, hearts and thoughts they fade, fade away. See how it sounds out. But yeah, it got me to cry, so good enough. Save the acousta strat. Woo, it's time to party. I'm happy and celebrating. So there's some tuning instability. I feel like as the strings break in, I mean, you seen I was playing really hard. These new strings are weird. Sometimes you get bum strings, you get old strings. I've gotten rusty strings in the pack. I mean, I keep strings on them for a long time. A long time. And whether I'm playing a lot or not. I'm one of those guys who change the strings every day or with the weather. Inspecting the nut, man, I really compensated on that bad boy. And it's funny, it goes the way it would like the saddles, you know. It goes forward E, A, D, and then it pulls way back on the G, and then forward for B and E. So it seems to make some kind of sense in some kind of world. I don't know, maybe it'll all come to me in a dream that makes sense, but I was delirious setting it, you know, and then fear kicks in, I grinded for 2 days this goddamn bone saddle, and then to compensate it and just take a Dremel to it and start digging in on it, man. But I really wanted the intonation to be it, and it's pretty good. Blackbird's a good one though. Hear the intonation? Yeah, it's sounding great now. So I really can't turn the truss rod unless I want it to be like fuzzy and dead. And when I do that, what do they call that? The C shape, 5th string roots, major chords. Right, that E usually lights it up like a no one left to run with. Yeah, I hear it going out, but I'm pulling on it pretty hard. As time goes, the nut slots will get even lower, and I can fine tune. I hear the intonation isn't perfect, but I suspect the strings are a little weird. I'm still probably pulling them out. That sounds pretty good, but when I change over to my first 3 fingers and start yanking on it, getting that pinky. Right, so we're going for Delta, I don't know, brings me Mississippi. I want that buzz by my own thing in the back now. You guys do those pull-off hammer-ons, you know, you got the pinky. Okay, it kind of lit it up. It's still a little dead and disappointing. I'm thinking maybe if I change the strings again. These got a lot of dust and dirt on them. May I take another little hair off the truss rod. There ain't much left. Right, and now the action's playing more like an acoustic than an electric. I'm not really trying to do lead on there. It's a good practice guitar, so it's kind of okay. Like, you know, I'd rather have super low action, but maybe you can't have it all, like super low action and, you know, it swinging for the fences with all the brilliance and luster. That's it, man. There's like no more tension. If I go looser than that, it'll be like flapping in the wind. It'll start rattling around. Now, I don't know if it will, but let's check the intonation one last time. This video is getting too long. I'll get you guys out of here. Get you guys out of here. Be gone with you. D went flat. Come on, D. G's good. B is a little sharp. D's kind of working its way in. So, you know, I probably left B sharp. Sometimes I bend. Right, so now it's flat, right? So I left it a little sharp. Sometimes I tune it up like that. Like E is going a little sharp. I suspect I might bend it. G went flat again. So G is weird, you know, G's are wonky. I tune it just a touch and it went sharp again. I could bend it and now it's perfect. So we're pretty good. The intonation is good too. Here you guys. Here's the G. Well, no, that's a D. So it's a little flat. But you hear the notes pretty much the same. The intonation's in. All the first fret notes go sharp. Kind of more than I want them to. Right? And the action on the first fret is pretty much in the range. A could come down a little maybe. But as I further fine tune the saddles, I think that's what it is. I might need to go back even more. Maybe if I change the gauge. The D is a little high maybe. I'm not going for perfection, and I do have my regular diamond files, but I don't have nut slot files. And it can be tricky digging in there. And for the little strings, man, it's easy to be too fat. So I'm just using the finest edge on some of these files in all different shapes to try to, not have it rattle around in there. Because you could you spend a lot of money on those nut slot files, diamond nut slot files. It might be worth getting a set. Thinking I saved a block. I cut this bone nut in half. It was pretty thick, and I cut it in half. You can get two. So I got one for the Alvarez, and I don't know. It's pretty good. Like. Should be brighter. And then it's like you loosen a little too much on the truss rod and you start to lose a little more. It's maybe in the higher and the lower, right? So there's a sweet spot. Yeah, it wants a little bit of baby tension in there. A little bit of baby tension, I think. You can tell on that 12th fret. Yeah, so that seemed to be just a little brighter and a little buzzier. Definitely buzzy. Still bright. So I'll be fine-tuning it. I mean, major things, who knows? Like, in terms of that, I could maybe unshim the neck. It really looks pretty good, like a decent neck angle. The saddle I could maybe lower a little more. But we don't want to get into Buzzville. I think that's about it. That's about as low as I could get the action. And I'm not going to really mess around. We're just going to leave it. It's my high action. I'm going to go test the piezo and see, because it's way different sound. It sounds full on. Like through an amp, that's what it's really designed to be. Right? It needs the help. The amplification. There, it sounds fine. That's the sweet spot. That's it, people. Acousta Strat. We saved this mother. May it last another 30 years. Hopefully the piezo's working. If not, it probably doesn't matter. I could rip it out pretty easy and change it. I was talking about upgrading it anyway. And we could probably upgrade the tuners. And that might even add to greater tuning stability. Who knows? Maybe I can monkey around with the string trees and string tree angle a little bit. Yeah, who knows? We're looking pretty good. Yeah, I was thinking do a little abalone inlay where I dented it to commemorate. So we'll see if I start doing abalone inlays. This has kind of a mother of pearl. Maybe they're fake mother of pearl. No, they don't look too pearly or swirly. Like, it's consistent white, but it's kind of shiny and pearly. There might just be cheap plastic inlays, probably. Right, so that'd be a nice little project to start doing. I could do like abalone inlays, maybe go on the dark side dots, things like that. I mean, this is a really great neck, so I don't know how easy it straps onto an electric guitar, if this could be a good backup neck or whatever. But for now, I mean, not only am I thinking, is this a good backup gig guitar, but maybe more like a primary, right? Like, not that I'm doing a lot of gigs, but I was thinking about doing some busking when I live down the beach, pretty easy. And I got a battery that can power a PA system, the whole bit. And I got some PA speakers, but I'm going to get a PA amp and / mixer. I went for about $200 for like 4 channels. Pretty light. Yeah, it'd be pretty good for busking, right? So I could just bring the PA and this, and the PA has effects. good to go. Maybe throw a looper on that bad boy, right? Could do the whole body percussion thing. I don't have the wires taped down, so they wiggle in there. We'll do that. That's part of our next project. All right, people, 40 minutes. Hope you enjoyed saving the acousta strat. This is this is almost 30 years old guitar, something like that. Being, 2023 right now? I don't even know what year it is. No, we're in the 24 now, right? Oh, my God. 24. So, it's got to be at least 24, 25 years old. I'm thinking close to 30 years old, right? So not bad for a 30-year-old. Pretty cheap guitar. Was made in China. I think I paid like $189 for it when I got it. I got it because I was on my way to a gig and we didn't have an acoustic that plugged in, and we had a PA, and the room we were going to use the PA, and it was at a dog kennel, so it was pretty cool. We plug in right here in the back through the jack. That's my next test, and you guys could see. I don't know if I showed you the offset. Right, I pulled back the bridge pin. Kind of looks cool, wavy gravy. So we got the intonation, we got the action, we're there. Love and life. Things are looking up. Finally. And maybe that extra tinny, something to do with still, like maybe the bridge piece missing. Sounds good in the upper. Sounds good to me, man. I'm alright. We good. Messed that riff up. That sounds way brighter. If I don't hear that pinky, then it's no good. We're okay. We're right in there. As good as it ever was. Maybe it's better than it was to begin with. I'm going to look back on some really old videos and try to find out. Yeah, I'm gonna have some fun playing this. Been working on this guitar way too long, working on too many guitars. Now it's time to have some fun. Maybe I can improve and play a little better. I'm gonna try to learn a few licks, a few songs, before I could call myself a guitarist. But yeah, I'm doing all right for a drummer. And I always wanted to work on my singing, so that's why I picked up guitar. I don't know why you're picking it up, but I'm glad you are. And, I'll see you over at Tim Pierce's site. Rick Beato, shout. Peace and love, people. I'm out.